Hey guys, DC here. The last installment of the course preview videos and the briefings on those. This one's specifically about the run course. So we're going to run through the specifics about how the flow of the run course works, some little tidbits from my perspective as to what things you should be aware of before you come and check out the race course. And then also just some other important information that I think you guys should be aware of post-race, kind of what happens after you cross the finish line and things that you need to make sure that you're planning for and things like that. So first, I wanted to talk specifically as soon as you get off the bike in the dismount area. So I'm going to minimize my screen here a little bit and get myself out of the way. The athletes on the bike course are going to be coming westbound on Arapahoe, which is located right here, and you'll head south on 17th. And you'll see just off to the left of my cursor, this is the Boulder High School. And that is where this football field is where transition takes place from the bike to the run. As I zoom in a little bit tighter, your dismount is going to be right about in this area, just a little bit up the north side of the of 17th, and you'll jump onto the sidewalk that runs along the Boulder High School and behind the high school. I'm going to switch to a different view just so you can kind of get the idea. This is that same location that I was talking about. So you'll dismount right here, and you can kind of see, if you look closely on this this map, we've got some barricades that are set up. So you'll run through these barricades. This chute will be completely dedicated to you guys, and your spectators, families, and friends can stand along the outside. You'll hang a right hand and run all the way along the back side of the school. And then you'll head into the transition area. You'll cross the bridge. And this is kind of a hot corner. If I zoom back out, the athletes will be coming across the bridge here on their bike, and then shortly, in a few minutes, I'll show that the run course is going to be going underneath that bridge. So this little spot right here on both sides is a great spot for your spectators to hang out when they're getting ready to dismount, because they'll see you come back right through here when you get off the bike in a few short minutes once you get through transition. So as you're going through transition, you'll notice you'll hand off as soon as you head into the football field in the track area, the volunteers will receive your bike, and they'll go and rack your bikes on top of the football field. This whole area, this black section, can be very hot. We're going to have carpet in this whole section on this area only, along the section that you're going to be running, but I still recommend everybody at least have your socks on. A lot of people try to run the whole race without any socks, thinking that that's going to save them a lot of time. Really, if you think about the time savings versus the possibility of getting a blister of any kind, I really think that you guys should consider wearing socks, if not just for this black area, for the areas that you were running before you got to the carpet. All it takes is one little rock, and you could really cause some damage for the day. We're going to do our best to keep those areas clean and swept, but you never know what's going to be out there, so just please keep that in mind. If you choose to go barefoot, I think you're running a risk. So you'll head into transition, and you'll run along the south side of the football field on the black track, and this is where your gear bags will be stacked up, and these are the bags that you use from bike to run. So they'll be stacked in numerical order. There'll be running lanes, and then there'll be bag lanes. So there's 6 total track lanes, and every other lane is going to be a running lane. So as you're running through, they'll be trying to give you your bag based on your number. Another modification that we've made besides the carpet in that area, instead of having the change tents on the black area as well, which also was hot, we're going to move the change tents up on top of the grass in this area just to the west of the football field. So you'll run up the stairs with your bag. This is a set of stairs right here, very small set of stairs. It's about 10 steps, really shallow. And you'll run into your change tents, come through the change tents, and you'll get your run course started with portable restrooms just after that as well if you need any, okay? We'll also have sunscreen in that area as soon as you exit the change tents and get you on your way. Hopefully that explains that piece. So I want to talk real quickly, then just jump right into the run course and kind of the layout and the flow. We call it the flux capacitor for a reason, and that's because it has a distinct 3 legs to the race. There's the leg that stretches all the way west into the middle of the flux capacitor, and then there's the southern section that runs all the way down to baseline, and then one more section that runs all the way out to 55th. And with those 3 legs, if you've ever seen the movie Back to the Future, it forms what looks to be, at least to me, the flux capacitor for time travel, which is hopefully something that you get to experience on race day and getting some extra time. That's not real. There's going to be 6 aid stations, but the way that the course flows is there's 3 out and back sections. So when you leave the high school, you'll head east to the middle of the flux capacitor, then you'll head south to an out and back up to the flux, then you'll go back out east a little bit further, and then back to the flux, and then you'll head west all the way out to Eben G. Fine and almost into the Boulder Canyon area, and back to the high school, and that forms lap number 1. Once you're back to the high school, you'll do the exact same thing. You'll head east, then you'll head south, come back to the flux capacitor, back out east, come back into the middle, and then back to the high school, Eben G. Fine, and then back to the high school before you start heading into the finish line. And that forms the 2 loops that you have. So 3 out and back sections, and each you do twice. So all the aid stations that are on there, all 6 of them, you'll be hitting in both directions, and the one in the middle you'll be hitting in 3 different directions. So all told, there's 26 different opportunities for aid. So that's one every single mile. That's lots of aid stations, which is really great. So let's talk through a little bit more distinct stuff about the flow of things. As you exit transition, so just to recap, you'll be crossing this bridge off to the right-hand side of the track. You'll be running along the black track, jump up the stairs into the change tents, and then you'll run out onto the course. You can't tell from this map, but just underneath this tree line, there's a little bit of a pathway that'll take us to a bridge that crosses the Boulder Creek, and you'll hang a right. So you'll hang a quick right onto the bridge, and then another right off of the bridge to start your first loop. Okay, you'll head all the way out east. You'll do the southern section, the east section. When you come back here, you'll go, instead of turning left across the bridge that you just came across, you'll go straight out to Eben G. Fine, and then you'll come back to start your second lap. So once again, you'll cross the bridge, hang a right, come back across, or not the bridge, but you'll come back in the same area, and then you'll head west, and you'll come back to the bridge, and that'll be lap number 1. You'll do the exact same thing for lap number 2. You'll go out, and then this time when you're coming to lap number 2, you're almost at mile 26. You'll hang a right on the bridge just underneath this tree line. You can't see it in this image, but there's a bridge under here. You'll cross the bridge. You'll come up this pathway up to Arapahoe. Once you get onto Arapahoe Avenue, I'll recenter this image. You'll hang a right on Arapahoe, and you'll head a left on 13th, and this will take us right up to the finish line. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Our finish line is located right here on 13th Street, just south of Pearl Street. So once you get onto Arapahoe and hang a left on 13th, you're on the home stretch there. And that's kind of the flow of that specific area. It can kind of get complicated to see, but we'll have it marked really well for you. The other thing I kind of wanted to mention in terms of flow is just back to this bridge. For spectators specifically, for your family and friends, when you guys are here on race day, this is a great spot to be at because there's a lot of available opportunities to see you as the athlete. Remember, as I said before, you as a bike, when you're bringing your bike into the transition area, you're going to be crossing this bridge that's located right here under where it says Boulder Creek. In a few short seconds, as soon as you get out of the change tent, you're going to hang a right on the Boulder Creek Trail. And if I zoom out and show you, you'll be heading, as soon as you cross this bridge here, you'll hang a right and you'll cross underneath that bridge that you just went over within a few short minutes of after going over top with your bike. Great spot for spectators because shortly you're coming back and then you're going to start lap 1. Or start lap 2 again, then you'll come back through, and they'll have plenty of time to run from this location up to the finish line and catch you there as you finish up the last few miles. So great spots to be. Hopefully that helps to understand the Boulder Creek path and the finish line in kind of those specific areas. As I'd mentioned before, there's 6 aid stations. We've got one located shortly after the Boulder Creek path, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we get a little bit closer look. So as soon as you get out, this is the high school, the run start area. You've got one here. You've got one right in the middle of the flux capacitor. You've also got one down here on the southern section, one out here on the eastern section. And again, as I'd mentioned, as you come through all of these, you'll be hitting them on both directions. They'll be double-sided aid stations. And then as you're coming back through the Boulder High School, you've got another one shortly after, right by the library. Also a great spectating spot for your family and friends. And then aid station 6, if I move myself out of the way, aid station 6 at Eben G. Fine. And that's the name of the park, Eben G. Fine. And then you'll get to your turnaround and come back in to the finish line. So that's kind of the basic layout. In terms of general notes, I just want to make sure a couple of things are noted. If you look at the profile, it's probably a little more intimidating than it really is. There's really not that much climbing in this course. If you look at the total elevation gain is 670 feet. It's really not that much. Anytime that you're heading west, you're in general going to be heading uphill, because that's if you look, the stream is running downhill. That's this location right here on the profile. You can see as it's climbing from basically mile 7 to about 12 and a half. You've got, or about 12, you're kind of climbing, okay? And then when you get to lap number 2, the same idea, from about 19 and a half to 24 and a half, you're doing that exact same climb. And this is basically anytime you're heading west. Every other time that you're heading away from the mountains, okay, anytime you're running away and you can't see the mountains because they're behind you, you're most likely going to be heading downhill in general. So keep those things in mind. It's really a pretty flat course. There's tons and tons of shade. This whole course has, if you've ever done our half Ironman here in Boulder, there's lots and lots of just open space and not really much shade. This has lots and lots of shade, so you should be okay. A lot of people are concerned, or were concerned last year about the space that's going to be available on the course. We had lots and lots of space available for athletes to run. The creek path is very, very wide. It's kind of a highway for our city, so they built it originally really, really wide, and it's got lots of space. What's really great about this course is the spectators, because of the out and back nature, consolidate themselves kind of all in towards the Boulder High School, and it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of energy and excitement in that area, so bring your family and friends and suggest that they be there, because that's a great spot to be. Lots of action. Another thing that should be worth noting, when we're getting permits for races, you have to negotiate with the cities that you're working in. And one of the things that the Boulder Creek Path is to the city is it's a normal transit for a lot of people that are moving to and from their homes for work or whatever it might be, just commuting from here and there. And that Creek Path is something that we're very proud of in this city, and it's something that we protect. That being said, it's not technically closed on race day. And a lot of people will balk at that, and a lot of people are really concerned about that. But quite frankly, with this many people on the course, it kind of naturally closes itself. But one thing that I want you guys to be very careful of as athletes is, if you do have a community member out there, it's not an opportunity for you to yell at them for being there. This is an opportunity for us to show what great athletes that we have. So I suggest you guys just scoot around them. It's not going to take much energy to kind of move over to one side and scoot around them. And give them the space that they need. For the most part, people are going to avoid the area. We have marshals on all ends of the course and all the entrances and exits to kind of advise people to use the path elsewhere. But if somebody chooses to be on the pathway, it's their right to do so, and that's part of the give and take that we have with cities. So just keep that in mind. Just be nice. You'll get around them and take a deep breath and make sure you're not rude to anybody that's out there. That also includes any time that you're out on the course leading into the race. Just be very kind to people. It's a community here that's opening their doors and closing streets for you on race day. So say thank you as opposed to anything else. So just be kind out there. Lastly, as you're crossing the finish line, all of your gear bags are going to be located at the Boulder High School. It's your job on race night, not the next night, on race night, to make sure that your gear bags, your morning clothes bag, and your bike are picked up from transition before the end of the night. We close that at midnight. There's a tag, a small little piece of paper that you receive in your packet when you check in, that you can give to a family member or a friend to go and pick your stuff up for you, and I highly suggest that you do that. From 5:30 till midnight, they can go to the Boulder High School and pick up their stuff, all of your stuff, load it into the hotel, load it into a car, so that when you cross the finish line, off you go. You can go catch your shower and then come back to the final finisher party that we have at 11 o'clock. So just again, make sure that you guys are picking up your stuff at the end of the night. A couple other things to note: you will not be receiving your special needs bags back from either bike or run. There's a reason for that. I won't go into a lot of detail, but neither of those items you'll be receiving back. So make sure that you don't put anything valuable. Our volunteers are trained to, as soon as you go through and access your special needs bags, that they'll process everything, they'll recycle what they can, donate the other stuff, and then everything else goes into the trash, okay? So don't leave anything of value in your special needs bag, because you will not be getting those back. The only bags you'll be getting back are your run gear bag, or your bike gear bag, your run gear bag, and your morning clothes gear bags, okay? And your bike. Obviously, we won't be selling those. I think that's it for me in terms of the run course. I think that's a pretty good summary, and hopefully gets you guys a little more comfortable in terms of what you're going to see on race day. Any questions, post them here on this Facebook page. We're getting really, really close to race day. We've got lots of supplies and lots of things starting to arrive, and we're really, really excited to see you guys. Thanks for all you guys are doing in terms of feedback, and we'll see you out there.